That's a gay-ass podcast.
What? That's a gay-ass podcast. What? A really, really, really gay podcast that we call That's a Gay-Ass Podcast.
That's a gay-ass name for a gay-ass podcast.
Welcome back to That's a Gay-Ass Podcast, the podcast that asks, whose fault is it that you're gay? It's me, Eric Williams, and I am thrilled to welcome Ryan Liu to the podcast, who is a manifesting bitch. And I, as a self-proclaimed crunchy girl, crystal queen, love to manifest. And Ryan has built over 1.3 million followers on TikTok, helping people do exactly that. So please, let's make our gay-ass dreams come true and enjoy this chat with Ryan Liu. Today, we're going to get woo-woo with someone who is Delulu. It is Ryan Liu, the host of Delulu podcast, and also just an incredible follow. Ryan, question number one on That's a Gay-Ass Podcast. Yes. We're recording this midweek. Are you having a gay-ass week, or has it been boring and straight?
It is a gay-ass life, so this is a gay-ass week for sure.
Oh, shout out. What would you say is the gayest thing to have happened to you in recent memory?
I was on the phone with my friend Cameron like yesterday, and I was talking to him, and I was like, you know what I think is really interesting that I kind of recently have been thinking about, but I was like, I feel like ever like a romantic attraction to men the way that like boys usually have it to women.
Sure.
So
sure.
That was something I was kind of like working through with him, but it's also super exciting too.
Yeah, you're working through the homosexual tendencies, which honestly, right. it's a daily occurrence for me. I love that you are not only, sure, a homosexual, but so deeply into manifestation. I'm not just saying this. I've, in the past like 5 to 10 years, learned about the power of a manifestation. And so I'm very excited to talk to you today about, sure, your podcast, but also how you have changed your life with manifesting and how you've helped others. So question number one, your podcast is called Delulu.
Yes.
Obviously taking us to the word delusional. Ryan, Are you delusional? And follow up, is being delusional a bad thing?
I'm like the most delusional bitch you'll ever meet in your entire life. Like genuinely, I am so beyond delulu. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think you have to be delulu to manifest what you want out of life. I think you have to be delulu to like enjoy life. Cause like, I think if we're so rooted in like the reality, which of course be mindful of that too, then it can honestly get really boring. It gets stale. It can get depressing. And I think I've always been such a big dreamer. I think being delulu is about, you know, dreaming big, thinking you can have anything you want, and then also knowing that everything that you want is already yours too.
Well, absolutely. I think also you're so good about posting about like the astrological connection to manifesting and delusion. And you and I are both Virgo kings. So I think there's a certain je ne sais quoi when it comes to the headiness of a Virgo person.
Oh my God, Virgos have such a bad rep.
We really do.
We need to change that. We need to change that. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? What do you think is the bad rap that we get? And what do you think is actually true about Virgos? Like what's the actual worst thing about a Virgo?
I would say like Virgos are interpreted to be like kind of harsh and critical. And I would say I'm kind of harsh and critical. So I think that's kind of true. I don't want to say the bad rep isn't unearned, but I also think it's misunderstood because I don't think it's ever coming from a place of like trying to be like too much, too mean, too critical, but I also think it's a place of expecting like perfection and also expecting things to be done a certain way, which is very much how I operate and work. So yeah. I
know I think the cross that we bear is that we have high expectations on ourselves and potentially high expectations on others around us. But I do think that we're living in an era where we have like a self-awareness where we're not like bullying our friends and loved ones. We're just hoping for the best for all of us. But in one of your videos, you do say like compatibilities of different signs, and you say Virgo is compatible with what? A therapist? Drag me, girly, because this is hot off the presses, but I have had 2 therapists, one individual that I've been with for like over 4 years, and then my husband and I have a couples therapist who's been like amazing. But I just broke up with my individual therapist. What do you feel, Ryan?
Oh my gosh, wait, I need to know context. Like, why'd you do that?
Well, I think it was actually a good thing. It was a celebration. It's because I felt like in my life's path, my journey, that I had really like almost closed a chapter of growth with her. And I was getting so much different guidance from the couples therapist that he's a gay man. My individual was a straight woman who, again, I adore. She changed my life. She's the reason
Yes,
why I've been able to
queen.
grow this podcast, all my shit. I was, when I first went to her, I said, I just moved to LA. I was dealing with some like personal life cuckoo-ness. And also I was like, I'm moving to a new city, much like you. I moved to LA from New York, and I wanted to do my first ever live show, but I was too afraid to do so. And this therapist, she's the reason why I was able to like get the tools and the confidence to do so. So I shout her out, but I also felt like organically it was the right time to end, and she was too expensive, and I'm not making enough money to justify 12 therapists.
Absolutely. I think all of that is completely valid and fair. I mean, she sounds amazing and obviously changed her life.
Yes.
But, you know, if you feel like that chapter is done and maybe it's not necessarily the right time, I think that's completely fine too. Like, that's okay. You still have a therapist.
Oh, and I probably always will. I'm the type of Virgo girl that feels like I need that support through and through. Are you a Virgo queen in therapy right now? Are you between therapists? Yeah. Okay.
No, I have a therapist. Shout out Will. Love him. He's like bestiana, and I just feel like I can like tell him everything, which is kind of what therapy is.
Of course.
He just feels like
is he gay girly or straight?
You know what's really interesting? He's married. He has a wife, but I swear to God, I had a therapy session with him like maybe 4 months ago. I swear to God, I saw him on Grindr, and I was like, Will, were you on Grindr? Like, I was like, we don't need to make this weird. I saw a guy. He looks just like you. He's the same age as you and everything. And I was like, is this my therapist? And Will was like, it was not me. And I was like, okay, that's so uncanny and weird. But then I even took it a step further. So I messaged the guy, and I was like, hey, like random, but like, what's your job? And he was like, something in sales, I guess. And I was like, right.
Can you imagine if that actually was your therapist? I think that would have been.
I still think it was.
Do you really?
I do. It looked just like him, and they were both 39. Like, what are the odds? You know what I mean? Like,
what are the odds? But also,
odds?
Here, well, the follow-up needs to be asked, which is, say it was your therapist, would you be down to clown?
Yes, for sure. I had such a crush on my therapist for a long time, but I think it was more of like a daddy thing because he's so like comforting and like paternal to me, and like I thought he's cute. So then I was like, you know, I was like, yeah, you're like, I had like a really big crush on him for a while actually, and then I think
that's actually, this might be a controversial opinion, but I do think it's actually okay to have a crush on your therapist to a point. I think that when it gets too far, then we're sort of mudding the waters.
100%.
But like, I'll tell you, our couples therapist is a fox. Like, he's hot. He is amazing at his job. And get this, Ryan Lou. I'm currently recording in Palm Springs, and he is also in Palm Springs right now. And I am praying. Talk about manifesting. I am manifesting that I run into my hot therapist out at a gay bar. Can you imagine?
Oh my God, that would be crazy.
I don't need to do anything spicy with him. I just want to like get an IRL, because we only work remotely. So I want to get an IRL. I still get that. I would love to see
manifest
face-to-face.
that. We're gonna have to follow up. We're gonna have to find out.
We're gonna have to follow up. And you know what? Let's before we get into the manifesting of it all, because I really do want to get into like the tools of it all. I want to talk about the journaling, the taroting of it all. I really can't wait to learn from you. But before we do so, let me ask you the famous gay ass podcast question, Ryan Lou, which is, whose fault is it that you're gay? Who do we blame, even, babe?
Chris Evans in Fantastic Four, like when he was like, he burned off all his clothes. I remember being like a child and seeing that and like being like, oh, like, why am I so into this? Like, why am I so into him, like, you know, kind of naked and super hot? You know what I mean? So
Chris Evans, kind of naked, I think has done a lot to a lot of young gay boys across this country and this globe. You're probably,
thank you, Chris Evans.
Are you a Gen Z queen?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm millennial, so we are having a cross-generational tie, a bond over Chris Evans, because while Fantastic Four we shout out, my origin Chris Evans story was not another teen movie where he is
the whipped cream.
Whipped cream on his nipples, and then he turns around and there's a banana sticking out of his asshole, and that did it for me.
No, that's a good one too. So I have not seen that movie or what that is, but when I was doing my research of Chris Evans naked, it came up. So that one was a great one too. For
Well,
sure.
here's the deal. The reason why that was so formative is because he had a hairy chest. And
Yes.
I, as someone who had a self-loathing feeling about my own body hair, I saw his and I was like, oh my God, he is proof that it can be hot. But I feel like in
Wait, what?
Fantastic
That is
Four,
so hot.
now I know it now, but growing up I did not. But in Fantastic Four, do you remember when he gets naked? Is he fully bare chested? Because I feel
He
like
is. Yeah, and he had like a hairy chest too. I can still see it in my head. Like,
oh, so
perfectly.
there is chest hair in the Fantastic Four nakedness.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank God.
I'm willing to like, I haven't seen it in so long. I haven't even seen that in so long, but I feel like I could see it in my head. It's like a little fuzz. You know what I mean?
We love
Like, yeah.
a little fuzz.
And
How
he's
do you
like,
feel about
he's like holding
body
this
hair?
jacket. I love it. Like, I'm super attracted to it. Anything like, I'm really attracted to like men and like men type things. So love that.
You're far on the gay ass spectrum of loving
Very
a
far.
fucking MAN.
Yes.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Orange County. So
Okay.
I was in Orange County most of my life. And then after my TikTok did what it did, I moved to New York and I lived in New York for a couple years. And then I moved to LA. So now I'm currently in LA.
Obviously, you felt that sort of like divine sign from the universe that putting out your own work on TikTok would be the key for you. But when did you actually go from just like manifesting with blind faith to, oh wait, it's actually happening? Like, was it super gradual? Was there one moment where you felt like you got a certain money maker or follower count? How did you know that you actually were making good on that gut feeling?
Honestly, I didn't really even know for a while. I still don't really know. Like, I'm in year 6 now. I quite literally have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. But we're just saying, fuck it, we ball. But I think my first month of my TikTok blowing up, I went from like 0 followers to 100,000. And in my head, I was like, oh my God, I made it. This is it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm famous now. Like, everything's going to work out. But I didn't actually even make a penny from TikTok for about like 9 months. And I had quit my job and I was making TikToks and I started gaining followers. I was like, let's just keep going with this and see where it goes. And I just kept committing to it and I kept going. And it was a lot of blind faith. It was a lot of prayer. It was a lot of manifestation. And eventually when I started making money from TikTok, that's when I was like, okay, now I feel like really confident that like maybe this could be a career. I mean, to me, to be completely honest, there was no other option. I didn't envision any sort of life for myself that was not exactly what I'm living pretty much right now. And like my dreams continue to evolve, the things I want to do continue to evolve, the projects I work on continue to evolve, and I can't imagine anything else.
I want to let's piggyback off of that, Ryan Lou, because I think what a lot of people get trapped in is having one dream or goal as a young person or at whatever age, and then not having the flexibility for that goal to change. And I think what you're probably doing is that you are sure manifesting what you want, but then you are taking the cues from the universe to let those dreams morph or evolve. Would you say
100%.
that is what's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when it comes to manifestation too, and this is something I always talk about, it's like you have to be super open-minded to what manifestation is and how things manifest. And, you know, we are not static people. Like, we are ever changing and we should embrace what we want, and things that we want can also change. And the desires that we have can also change. Like, I feel like for me, I hit a point in 2023, I would say the beginning of 2023, where I remember sitting down and being like, I have everything I've ever dreamed of, like genuinely, like everything I've ever dreamed of since I was a child. Like, I have it right now. And I was like, what's next? And I really sat there and I was like, what else do I want? What else can I accomplish? What else can I do here? Like, because I feel like that's what happened. Everything I ever thought was realistically feasible in my wildest dreams had already happened. So
Can you talk
it's
about
starting to
what
embrace-
was it that had happened? Was it that you had made a full living as a creator, or what was like the dream that you had hit?
It was exactly that. But my biggest thing is my apartment, essentially. Like, I really, really have always like dreamed of independence and freedom. Like, I lived in a home with my parents who I love super, super deeply, but I felt so restricted and I felt so repressed and I felt like I couldn't do anything. I didn't have freedom. And I used to dream about it where I'd be like, when I get my own place, I'm gonna have friends over all the time, because my parents never let me have friends over. And I'd be like, I'm gonna have people sleeping over and I'm gonna be able to take care of people. I'm gonna be able to help people. I'm gonna be able to like support people if I need to, because I'll have my own place. And I always dreamed about that. And I always dreamed of like a view of the city lights. I always dreamed about like living in New York and Los Angeles and pursuing a career in entertainment. And this is essentially what that was. And I felt like also I was making a lot of money. And that was another thing. I was like, I have financial freedom now. Like, I was like, I feel like I have everything I could ever want. And that was like the start of 2023. And then that's when I was like, okay, what else do I want now? Like,
Right.
what else is crazier that I didn't even want to say out loud, because I was like, that's never going to happen, you know? And then those started happening as well. And I still feel like it's continuing to
that's the
happen.
delusion. I think that's exactly what that's how we should
Yes.
train our brains, which is to actually allow ourselves to dream bigger than we had given ourselves permission before. But I do
Right.
think that part of what you're saying about, like, obviously we love our parents and we are so grateful, especially when they are embracing of our queerness, because historically speaking, that has not always been the case.
Right.
But I think that what you probably were feeling too was the heteronormativity of it all, and maybe like the apartment or your own space was like the physical sign that you were a gay ass adult living
Yeah.
in gay ass bliss without
Yeah.
the commentary or rules of a straight world.
Absolutely. And like, even literally physically, like in my apartment, the first thing I did when I started decorating was I put dicks everywhere, because I was like, that's art. And I like that. I like men. So I have like a lot of
dicks
like,
are art. I
Yeah.
do think that, you know, every human body part can be considered art, but
Definitely.
if we get into the artistry of a dick for a second, I do think it's an important topic.
Let's get into it.
What
Yeah.
would you say is the most beautiful part of the dick biologically, anatomically even? Are you a head girl, shaft queen, ball
See, that's
bitch?
hard, because like all three of those came to mind, and I was like, I think it's the entire encompassment of all of it, like balls to head. You know what I mean? Like, I think
Sort of like a Monet. You got to take it all as a
100%.
complete image.
Yeah, literally, that's what I'm thinking. But like, yeah, I have like, well, not anymore, because I was like, I felt like I hated having to preface anyone coming over being like, by the way, there are going to be penises everywhere.
Trigger warning, dicks. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I don't know if that's a good host of me to have dicks everywhere. Not everyone wants to see that. You know what I mean?
I love the trend of especially like queer men whose wall art is just like fully either porn or erotica or.
When I go to someone's house and it is literally like erotic art or like naked men or dicks, I love that shit.
Me too.
I eat that shit up.
Wait, let me shout out my gay ass husband, because we have a bunch of art on our walls. In fact, on Substack, one of our bonus episodes coming up is with Sedgwick Guth, who is an incredible queer artist. He has really horny images, and above our bed are two line drawings of like men with like big old bulges, and then in our guest bathroom, we have a really cool painting of like a pool party, but there are little Easter eggs all over of men doing a bunch of slutty things. You'll see in the corner like a small image of a man on his knees. You see like there's a lot. So like I co-sign the
Wait, I
horny
need to
gay
come
art.
over. I want to see
Absolutely.
all of that. I have an artwork of the moon and the sun jerking each other off. Love that one.
Genius.
Yeah. Literally,
That's like, I feel like that's you in a nutshell, is the moon and the sun jerking each other off.
1,000,000%, especially because like, well, my apartment's celestial themed, so I was like, that's perfect. And I love of men, dicks, and the moon and the sun, like all there.
And the universe doing her thing.
100%. So like,
I do want to get into that though, like, because as someone who is, I would say woo-woo in my soul, but in practice, I really can learn a lot from you.
Yeah,
when it comes
sure.
to manifesting, I know that you've talked a lot about and written about journaling as a way to sort of like put out into the world what we want to come true.
Yeah.
Question for a specific for me that maybe a lot of listeners will align with. I find that writing, the actual like physical act of writing, can feel limiting, because not only is my handwriting bad, but I can't write as fast as I think. And it just brings me back to school, which is obviously a trigger fest at times. Are you cool? Let me ask for permission, Ryan. Are you cool if I journal on my computer, Dora?
Honestly, no, I'm really not okay with that. It physically has to be in a journal. I'm totally kidding. Well, I literally, there's no right or wrong way to journal. So like I'm obviously a huge fan of journaling. I talk about it a lot, as you know, and like I fill this shit up like very vastly, but like
Wow.
I also think faster than I could physically write too. So I write on my laptop, like just a train of thought, like, and then I scribe it into the journal. So I get the thoughts out and I copy it into the journal, because I want a physical embodiment of the thing. And also I write the journals, they're designed to be read. I also tape in like pictures and like whatever's into it. So like, it's like
So
way
how much would you
more.
say, like on a daily basis or like on average, like how much time are you spending writing or journaling?
Honestly, I would say like 5 to 10 minutes a day.
Okay.
I would really hope so. But like recently, my life has been super incredibly busy. So it's been so hard to have the time and even the mental bandwidth to sit down and journal about the day. But I really am such an advocate for your life is worth remembering. And you
Yeah.
should write down what you did that day, how you felt that day, what you're working on, what you're thinking about. Like, and I really try to be super intentional about it. I'm super behind because I've been so swamped. And but things for me happen every fucking day that I have to like write about it too. So I would say like for me, it's a giant priority in my life, especially because like I want to see how I'm feeling. I want to remember those dreams. The whole thing that we talked about where I was like deciding TikTok was going to be the one that was going to like change my life. I'm so thankful I wrote about that in my journal. And then I could pull up my journal and open that page. It was August 27th, the day after my 24th birthday. And I remember writing being like, TikTok's going to be the one. It's going to change my life. I'm making this decision now. I'm quitting my job. And I'm happy I have that. And it's going to be in the documentary. And it's going to be like, you know, everything. I've written everything for the past like 10 years, like since I was in high school, you know.
Wow. So is that the way that
thing.
you have found you're into journaling is just sort of recounting the feelings? And do you have like a specific goal or framework, or is it pretty free form stream of consciousness?
It's literally a free form stream of consciousness. I write it as if I'm telling my friend a story because the intention of these journal entries are to be read. Like I hope all of them are published one day. I hope all of them are featured in something one day. Like they're designed to be read, and I like air everything out and I write it as if I'm talking to a friend. I'm telling my friend a story. I'm telling them about my day. Like I'll be like, girl, you're not going to guess what happened today. Or like, guess who showed up again. Or I'm like, oh my, like I just like the storytelling aspect of it. I'm very much naturally a writer in general. So I feel like when it comes to the journal entries, it's like,
well, I just have to tell you something that I talk to so many people on these interviews, and it's very rare that like a old memory resurfaces, but I just had one come up in this very moment, and I do think it was the universe trying to teach me a lesson. And the memory that came up is I'm like, no joke, 9, 10 years old. I'm a young child, very sensitive, emotional, obviously closeted child. And I had a journal. I decided to write a journal entry about the fact that I had a dream that I kissed a boy, and I was feeling really, really ashamed about it and worried about it. And I remember writing it down in a journal and immediately feeling the sense of panic of, well, wait a minute, what if somebody finds it? And enough days went by, and I think at one point maybe my straight twin brother did find it or try to read it, and I ended up destroying those pages because I was so deeply ashamed of not only having the experience of kissing. I mean, I would dream at like a young age of like climbing up the men who would visit my dad's pharmacy in their business suits. I would dream of climbing up their suits, grabbing their scruffy faces and giving them a sloppy makeout. I was 9. And
that
so
is crazy.
I think that
That's
I kind
crazy.
of, in a way, I still think in a way there's something very scary to me about like putting down my deep fears and thoughts and wishes because of that experience of being worried of being exposed.
No way. I have never felt that way where I'm like, I mean, I'm sorry that like that's crazy. I really like that you shared that. I want to unpack that actually because I'm really interested.
Well, yeah,
in that.
I think, but I think in a way that it's kind of a testament to your childhood home if we can give an homage to your parents there, because if you were writing these journal entries starting in middle high school and you have this practice now, you must have always felt pretty safe to record your deep fears, right?
Actually, no, literally my parents would read my journals too. Man, I guess I just was they would read them. Yeah, and they'd be really mad at me because like I'm very like explicitly clear about my thoughts about things.
So how did you deal with then the feeling of your parents getting that look into your inner life and maybe them having a negative reaction? How did you not internalize, or did you internalize that shame at all? Or how did you work through sort of having the strength to continue to express yourself?
I think I just didn't care. Like I think I was just like, yeah, that's that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I will say in my more young adult life, they did not read the journals. I would say when I was like a child, because like I'm not even kidding, like maybe 5th grade or something. I remember calling my dad, being like, please go to Barnes and Noble and get me a journal. I want to start journaling. And I would journal. They would read like my little childhood ones. So like they weren't really even a big deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think my adult ones, they probably could still read. Like I wouldn't put it past them whatsoever. But at the same time, it's like, I feel very open book. You know what I mean? I just talk about dicks for like 4 minutes. So like, I'm like, whatever at this point, you know?
Yeah.
I
Were
think it's also
your
just owning
parents
it.
always embracing of you being gay?
I honestly don't even know. It was just never spoken about. It was never talked about. It never felt like a thing. But I also, obviously, I feel like they've known because, like, I feel like I've always been very, like, not like my brother who's like straight, whatever, like heteronormative, etc. But yeah, they've never addressed it. They never brought it up to me. We've never talked about it. I remember even being like a young adult, they would reference me like marrying a woman, and I'd be like, oh. Like, I'm like, oh, are we still in that Delulu? Like, that's crazy. You know what I
talk
mean?
about Delulu.
Super Delulu.
I was with my nephews recently, my 7-year-old nephew, and my dad, who was, you know, just being a sweet grandpa, was talking about, for some reason, like falling in love. And he said, maybe one day your wife. And then my sister-in-law, my nephew's mom, said, or husband, and to make sure he knew. And I in my mind, I was like, that queen. And I'm sure I was also like, exactly. But like, it is really, it's like healing to my inner child to see my nephew and be like, letting you know that you can marry whoever the fuck you want. But I wonder if maybe a part of it for you was that you were growing up in Southern California, or maybe there was, maybe you had, I don't know if there was like friends in your school that had been out, or just there was more queerness around you. But I knew Orange County can be pretty conservative, right?
Oh my God, yes. And that's exactly why I left for New York, because it was during the time of the pandemic Lovato. It was 2020. It was like at the peak of Black Lives Matter, and just with how incredibly racist and conservative and Trumpy where I was living was, I was so fucking horrified. And we go back to the journal, and I was very much like in my like social justice era where I was like, I can't live here. Why are these people my neighbors? Like they're on the wrong side of history. It was just so bad. And that's when I was like, I need to go. I needed to go as far away as possible from here. And the second I had the means to like independently support myself, I was out. You know what I mean? And definitely. And I even hate coming back. Like when I go visit my parents and I'm going to see them for the holidays, I hate being there because I'm just like, this energy is so racist and it's so gross, and I just don't like it. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of people, there's a reason why a lot of queer people have chosen families and maybe even different locations than where they grew up, is because we're tired of feeling like an alien. I mean, I very much have talked about that in my own therapy. And I will give a shout out though. When I was in St. Louis, Missouri recently visiting family, I went to a couple gay bars and met the sweetest, hottest gay guys. I loved the small town sort of, I mean, like, and I say that not condescendingly. One of the gays was like, we very much like treat everybody here like as small town gays. We take them under our wing. And so I don't want to like shit on whether it's a small town or a suburb or whatever the fuck, but I do think that there are a lot of us who do leave those places because we would like to start our own story, create our own reality that is away from the straightness, or whether it's racism or whatever it is. But if we do want to get into the tools of manifesting specifically, do you have any advice for the best way to manifest? Or like, let's say, here's a great example. You knew in your gut that creating content on TikTok was going to give you the path to independence. I have had a very long road professionally. I graduated from college with an acting degree. I got very frustrated and then started to do comedy and then this podcast. And in my gut, I knew that a live show would be my ticket. I didn't know why. And I'm about to announce a tour for this show in the next couple of weeks. So I do see that it is happening, but I want to know if you have any tools or pieces of advice for like how I can push this manifestation, or anybody listening can make their dreams actually be put into the universe to even have the chance to come true. Any advice for us?
Yeah, honestly, I would say manifestation is super easy, and it should be taken as it being easy. I think there are different manifestation methods, and I see them as literally that, tools, because at the end of the day, it comes down to your intention, what you're trying to manifest, what you're thinking about, what you will speak into existence, but you don't even necessarily need them. So when people are beginning to manifest, I always recommend like take these manifestation methods and tools and use them, because if you believe dancing under a full moon in the pouring rain, spinning in a circle and chanting like XYZ is going to help you manifest it, then it's probably going to manifest based off the belief alone. I think believing it's going to happen is half the work. So if you need the help, like it's like go get a journal and write in your journal whatever you want as if you already have it. I'm so thankful. Gratitude breeds more things to be grateful for. I'm so thankful I have a sold out live tour, right? And that could be the tool that you need to do it. And honestly, you don't even necessarily need that. It's just like the belief and then feeling like, okay, I wrote that down. That's how you manifest. Now it's going to manifest. Like just thinking it's going to help you align. And also it's like a subconscious thing. Not only is it like meeting the universe in the middle, because the universe is going to, help you get your goals. You are going to work towards it. You have that intention. You set it down. You wrote it down. It's a goal. You're going to work towards it. Whether you're knowing like the depths of how much you're going to work towards it, you're going to put the work in, or also just like in your day-to-day life, you start doing little actions that help you move down that path to make it happen. Like I think they go hand in hand, but any manifestation method is honestly, anything is valid. I don't even think any of it's like necessarily right or wrong.
Yeah.
Whatever makes sense for you, whatever makes you feel like, okay, it's going to happen now. And that's how I started, because I started manifesting by journaling daily. I had a separate manifestation journal, not my like life journal. And I would write all my manifestations, hopes, and dreams. I would honestly say for hours, like till my hand hurt. And I would watch it manifest in front of me. And I just was like, oh my God, this journal is magic. And then I stopped having time to do it every day. And then I would still manifest. Like I would just say things out loud or do my own things, or I manifest once a month. Still would happen. And then I realized I was like, it's not the journal. It's not the rituals. It's not the routine. It's not the tools. It's me. So now it's just like, if I want to manifest it, I'm just going to manifest it. And that's where I'm at now. But that comes with a lot of practice to get your self-concept to the place where it's like, I'm a powerful manifester.
Yeah. Well, also what I'm hearing too is that you getting into the practice of it, even before you believe it will happen, gives the space for the chance of it coming true. Because I think what I have dealt with, and I think a lot of people do, is that sure, we can have these dreams or even wishes, whether it's for our romantic lives or professional lives or whatever, but a lot of us, I think, lack the confidence or the hope that any of it will come true. But I think that if you even fake it till you make it at the beginning, whether you're manifesting, even though you don't maybe deep down believe it can happen, but allowing yourself to even just write down the thought will give you the practice to one day believe it will happen. And then the more you believe, the more it actually comes into existence.
Clocked it. It's exactly that. It's like having the repetition and having the audacity to even say it out loud and believe that it can happen, and like thinking about it. And it's just like, you're right. A lot of people lack the confidence that it's real or true. Like I think a lot of people could be like, is it like, I want to be a superstar, but like how realistic is that? Like there's like 1 in a million, but it's like, why can't you be the 1 in a million, right? Like I think.
But also you said the audacity. We deserve to have the audacity, right? Like I think a lot of queer people are taught that we don't deserve a lot of things. We don't deserve happiness. We don't deserve a family. We don't deserve, like, this is going to be a very specific call up, but since we're getting to the holidays, there are so many, like, I feel like triggering comments that we can hear when we're around our families of origin. And I feel like something that I have noticed just in general is when people talk about like whether it's having children, and again, I know I'm a little older than you, but something, I think there's a value judgment that a lot of people place on like, you are only happy if you are married with kids. That is the sign of success. That is the sign of fulfillment. But I think for queer people, we are creating our rules of fulfillment, and we have the audacity, we deserve to have the audacity to have big dreams that are outside of the straight rules, and we
100%.
deserve those dreams coming true, even if the straight people in our lives don't see them as valuable, if it's not just a partner, a spouse, and kids, and a white picket fence.
Literally, it's when I was growing up, I remember what was instilled deeply in me was I need to be the breadwinner from a family. I need to have a wife. I need to have kids. And that was like the goal in life. And that's what I was taught. And then as I started, gaining my independence, free will, like thinking about things for myself, I was like, I don't want that at all. I definitely don't want a wife, like, a bestie is fine or whatever. And I really don't want kids. And I was talking about it with my friend I think yesterday, because I was like, do you want kids? And he was like, I used to want kids, but I don't want kids anymore. I was like, I don't want kids at all. And that's not where I find like my life to be and like what I want for myself. And like that heteronormative idea of like raising a family, which is completely fine and valid. And I know a lot of queer people also want that as well.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
a beautiful, great thing. I don't feel like I need that. I don't feel like I want that. And I also feel like I was raised to think that was like the end all in life. Like if you don't have that, you're not fulfilled. But then finding fulfillment within yourself and your queerness and what you want for your life, like I feel like that's just as rewarding, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Well, also the true gift is that you can make that decision. I think a lot
Yeah.
of people, especially straight people, feel that the decision was made for them. They were told, okay, you have to have kids to be fulfilled. You have to have a certain quote unquote normal life. But I think the queer people are the best parents because they have had to fight for it and have had to really make that decision. And so I mean, God, it makes me feel so happy when I see. I mean, I have two friends of mine who are married gays. They had their first kid. He is gorgeous. They are amazing parents. It's so cool to see, but it's also so beautiful because they had to go through a lot of fucking work and money to have that kid come into this world.
Yeah.
And on the other side of it, if we decide we don't want kids, that is equally beautiful and exciting because, hey, instead of me having two kids, maybe I'm going to buy a house in Palm Springs, which is currently my plan right now. So talk about manifesting. Wait, let me manifest, Ryan.
Yes.
I am so grateful to have a gorgeous home in Palm Springs where I entertain not only groups for big dinners, where my husband does the share of the actual physical cooking work because he is genius at that. But I also help him with doing the grocery shopping, having a delicious view of the mountains. We sit outside and potentially orgies happen at this house.
I see all of that. I'm visualizing it.
Yeah, thank you. And that was my manifestation that I'm very grateful is coming true in real time.
I love that. Please invite me to all of that. I want to come to your dinner parties and orgies. Like, please invite me.
You know, another dream that you're manifesting, I actually read in an interview of yours, you were trying to manifest Kesha on your podcast, Delulu. Now, tell me, is Kesha your pop girl? Is that why you want her? Or do you just think she needs your help? Why is Kesha the girl?
I need Kesha's help. I've always needed Kesha's help. We are still manifesting, and she is definitely going to come on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Right, Charlie? Yes. But that was my publicist. We're getting Kesha on the show for sure. I love Kesha. I've always loved Kesha. She, honestly, perfect opportunity for me to talk about Kesha. I'm so happy you brought her up. She is a giant part of like me accepting my queer identity because when she debuted in 2010, I was very much like, I don't even want to say closeted. I just didn't understand, and I really felt ashamed, and I felt like it was wrong, and I felt like it wasn't like something I should be or something I should feel. And I remember these deep feelings of shame. And then when Kesha came out, she was so deeply unapologetic, and she felt like what I interpreted it to be like a genuine, true ally to the queer community. I remember she made a video, and I, to this day, 2025, I think I can get emotional if I watch it, but she was like, I'm not going to get married until like everyone in this country can get married. And I was like, that's genuine allyship. And I felt very seen by her and just how she presented herself. And I loved her music, and I've always just loved her so much since like her debut.
Yeah, no, I think that you're hitting on something really important, which is that the reason why we love so many of our pop girlies and our character actresses who we'll get into, and the strong, sure, straight women, but also the straight men who are so encouraging of all people. It cannot be understated how amazing it feels to have someone like Kesha advocate for us. And I think that she is someone who has also felt othered, and I think that we can feel that connection. And by the way, I saw Kesha perform at Pride in LA.
Me too.
Wasn't she incredible?
2016?
Yeah. No, I think it was actually more recent than that.
Recently.
It was recently.
She just did it. Yes, it was last year, right? Wait.
It was last year, and I have always, loved her music. I love the campiness of Kesha, but I was really reminded of her star power because she fucking tore the proverbial roof off that outdoor West Hollywood Pride. I mean, she fucking killed it.
Oh my God, yes, I was there. That was incredible. One of the best nights ever for me. I'm a huge fan. I've seen her a bunch of times. That show itself was so special and empowering, especially because it was one of her first shows
Yes.
free from the contract
Dr.
that she was
Luke.
under. Absolutely. So like that energy was so different, and seeing her like fully realized as a pop star and just as a fan, I like, oh, I love her so much. Like literally, I'm gonna show you right now. I have this tiny little picture. I met her. I have this tiny little picture here. Yeah, it's like she was releasing a new album and she went live on Instagram. And my friend, I was taking a nap. My friend called me and he was like, "Are you by Melrose Place or something?" Like he saw an identifiable landmark behind her. And I was like, "No, I'm not, but I'm getting in my car right now." Get in my car, drive over there. She is there. She just finishes this live. I meet her. They're towing my car. She stops them from towing my car. Like, it was this whole thing. Kesha, I love you. I love Kesha so much. Oh my
But you're a
gosh.
go-getter, girl. You woke up from that nap and you literally hunted
I left
Kesha
out of
down.
bed. Hunted her down. Oh my gosh, literally. And then she stopped my car from getting towed.
Let me just commend and celebrate a gay girly like Ryan Liu, who was woken up from a nap, heard that Kesha was doing a live off of Melrose, whatever the fuck, gets in
Wherever.
that car gets towed, and you get the shot, and you will go to any length to meet your queen and to make your dreams come true.
Literally.
And I'm going to be inspired right now for another manifestation. I've said this
Okay, let's do
before,
it.
but I'm going to reaffirm it now. I'm so thrilled that my diva Whoopi Goldberg has finally come on That's a Gay Ass Podcast, and I'm so fucking gagged that I got to tell her how much she means to me, and how seeing her as Dolores Van Cartier in Sister Act 2 made me feel that a life of show queenness and embracing my true self would be possible. And I'm just gagged that I finally got to chat with Whoopi goddamn Goldberg.
Oh my God, claiming for you. These are icons. Like, that's incredible. That's happening.
I love that we were able to bring up.
Reasonable.
I think so, and I love that we were able to bring up Kesha and Whoopi Goldberg in the same breath on this gay ass podcast, as we should.
As we should, absolutely.
Oh my God. Well, listen, I want to make sure that since we only have a few minutes left, I want to get into some more of your journey and question for you about tarot of it all.
Yeah.
Do you find that when you're doing a tarot reading for someone or for yourself, as a woo-woo amateur, is tarot like predicting what's to come? Is it giving us something to look out for? What do you find is the value of the tarot of it all?
I honestly think it's comfort. And I think tarot has so many different facets. It could be predictions, but it could also be insight. It could also be a little bit of just like someone holding your hand, reassuring you. I see it as like therapy as well. Because like I think with tarot specifically, I usually don't read for myself ever, actually. But when I read for other people, it's like, it's also like, what do you need to hear right now? What's going to give you the peace of mind, or what's going to give you reassurance, or what's going to give you guidance to make the next steps that you should be making? Of course, like make your adult decisions without like tarot necessarily having a deep influence on it. But it's also nice to know that, you know, there could be other things or reassurances or messages, because I don't even think tarot necessarily needs to be like, okay, now you need to quit your job and do this. It could also just be like, here's some reassurance for what you need to hear, or here's a reminder that you're on the right path, or here's some advice that could be applicable to the situation you're going through. Because I think the human mind will find ways to make things make sense. And I think they work hand in hand. So I'm a huge spiritual girly, very woo-woo, very delulu, but I'm also very realistic and logical. It's the Virgo in me as well. So I have to make sense of like how these things are possible and how they can even connect. And I think that's also what tarot is too. It's a really powerful tool.
A big skill of yours is the two sides of your brain, which is you have the woo-woo, and then the Virgo side is the actual application of it. Because I think that we're living in a time that there are so many influences from pop culture, people around us. So many people are using like Chat GPT to hear about whether it's like using Chat GPT as a therapist, or I'm sure there are people using it for. Do you think people are using AI Chat GPT for like tarot, astrological? Like, do you think that's happening?
Yeah. Actually, I think maybe last year or maybe earlier this year, it was a while ago. I remember one of my followers being like, asking me, they're like, how do you feel about people getting readings from Chat GPT? And then I was like, I just don't think it's the same, because it really is AI at the end of the day. I feel like you do need a human connection. And I think that's what it is, especially with divination in general. It's about connection to the universe, connection to your higher powers, connection to your guides, connection to you, and connection to the person that you're reading. That's why like every tarot reader is not even going to be a good fit. Like it's like therapy. It's like you got to find the right person who's going to make sense for you or read you in a way that makes sense. So I feel like with AI tarot reading, like that's such a tricky fine line. And that's really a tricky fine line because it gets super easy for people to get reliant on it because it's super accessible. And it's right there. So I think that's something that people should really look out for. I even think with tarot in general, like I see it as like a little check-in. I don't see it as like you need to do this daily. You need to do it like
it's not a Bible.
It's not, and you shouldn't let yourself be like, subscribe to that so deeply. Like that's the way I tell people I read that all the time because they're like, how often should I come back to you for a reading? I'm like, honestly, whenever you feel called to it, but don't feel like it has to be like a daily thing or like like just whenever it makes sense for you. And I think that's really important.
Well, I bring it up because the fact that we get so much information from scrolling on social media, again, pop culture, people using ChatGPT, I feel like your skill is being able to use both sides of your brain to sort of like hear the messages from the universe, but also the other side of your brain is where to apply them, where to actually take action in your life. Because something that my first therapist, Fran Goldfarb, we shout her out, what she taught me is that we can feel everything that we feel, but it's our actions that really we have to be incredibly cognizant of. We have to be on top of what we do with the feelings that we have. And I, again, come from so many feelings of being, whether it's not enough or anxiety. And it's really, this is the first time in my life at 36 years old that I'm like actively trying to raise my self-esteem. I'm actively trying to calm my nervous system down when I feel that putting myself out there is scary and dangerous and wrong. And because just like you, I've always been pulled to perform and to make people feel good and whatever it is, but there are so many parts of my body that are like the safest thing you can do is be in a dark room with the door closed and hide. And so I think that again, it's like we have to be able to manifest and create the lives that we want while still honoring the panic that we're feeling, but not letting it dictate our lives. And also not subscribing just to one thing, whether it's tarot, ChatGPT, whatever the fuck it is, like having a full scope of experience that we can pull from and then making a very like, dropped in decision. But listen, Ryan Liu, I have had such a gorgeous time chatting with you, but I do have to ask you the final podcast question that I ask all my queens, which is, if the world was ending, you could only save one character actress, who would you save?
Okay, character actress, Meryl Streep from The Devil Wears Prada. Am I talking about Miranda Priestley, her character, or am I talking about the actress?
We go for actress, but we also love to always give a nod to the roles that changed us. And I think that it is clear that Devil Wears Prada. Wait, how do you feel about the sequel coming out? Are you nervous? Are you excited? How do we feel?
I'm very nervous because The Devil Wears Prada, that is my Bible. That is my Bible. Like literally, that is my favorite movie of all time. I've seen it a million times. It's my comfort movie. I don't know what it is. It's my comfort movie. I love that movie so much. It's so visually stunning. And then Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep's performances and Emily Blunt. But it makes me nervy-worthy because I'm just like, fuck, if they fuck up the sequel, it could ruin it for me. But also I'm excited because I wanted more from that world. So
I know we're living in a really tough time for gay guys because and our straight girlies and our queer wimmies because there are so many reboots happening that are really changing the original legacy of the things that are our Bibles. Devil Wears Prada is a great example. And I do think it's rare that a sequel improves upon the original. I think 100%. Sister Act 2 is an example of that, that's my opinion, that it improved upon. But Devil Wears Prada 2, we can only pray that, I mean, the fact that all these big hitters are still involved, hopefully, Meryl and Annie and Emily will all do their best to make sure that the sequel does not ruin the legacy of
100%.
one of the
That's
gayest movies of all time.
Like Enchanted and the sequel Disenchanted, like however long later. Disenchanted was so fucking awful that I was like, we could have just left it at Enchanted.
Well, then listen, can we manifest right now Devil Wears Prada 2? I'm so fucking grateful that Devil Wears Prada 2 is just as gaggy and gay and fabulous as the first. And it's so amazing that we got to see Meryl Streep in that cunty gray wig, and we got to see Anne Hathaway, Andy Sachs glow up. And I just am so grateful to the executives and the writer and the director and the team that brought it to fruition, because they did right by The Devil Wears Prada. And thank you to those girlies.
Claiming. Thank you, universe. We love the movie. It was so good.
We love the movie universe. And you know what, Ryan? I have loved chatting with you on That's a Gay Ass Podcast. I am going to continue to manifest and take the things that you've taught me. And I know that our listeners are very, very grateful that you were here and you continue to put goodness out into the world. Will you please tell these girlies listening where to follow you, and if there's anything that you would like to plug?
Okay, well, Fasties, I would love for you to find me across all my platforms at Emotions, E.M.O.T.I.O.N.S. And also, please check out the podcast, Delulu of Ryan Liu. It's super fun. It's very gay. We have a lot of the pop girlies coming on. You're going to love that. We're going to get your favorite pop girlies on. Whoopi Goldberg's actually booked for next week, so Eric will be watching.
Are you serious?
Oh my God, you're gagged. No.
You know what? That's on delusion, because you sold it, girl.
Oh my God, did I? Your face? That was crazy.
Well, I was just like, you know, I had a view into Whoopi Goldberg's itinerary and the fact that I could even know what she was about to record. No, she was my everything. She's like, she really.
Oh my
and
gosh.
listen, I'm gonna be as Delulu as you and say that you're gonna get every single person you want, including Kesha.
100%. Charlie's gonna make it happen. I believe all of it. You're gonna get Whoopi.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's gonna be great. But watch the show, Delulu of Ryan Liu. I am also putting out music next year, so please listen to the music.
Well, we've linked all of Ryan's socials, Delulu, the podcast, in the description. And Ryan, stay fab, stay gay, and I will see you at my Palm Springs home over a gorgeous spread of food.
And the orgy, yeah.
And lube.
Period.
Thanks for joining me on That's a Gay Ass Podcast, and thank you to Ryan Liu for helping us make our gay ass dreams come true. If you would like more gay assery, we've gotten a lot more subscribers on Substack this week because one of your favorite artists is spilling his horny truths. It is Sedgwick Guth, who loves a good thirst trap, and we love when he posts them even more. And he spills a lot about the BTS of his work life and horny scoop. So please go to Substack, linked in the description, to enjoy. And you're making my gay ass dreams come true with every new subscription. I love you so much. Hope you're surviving the holiday season, and stay gay. Bye. You've been listening to That's a Gay Ass Podcast, hosted by me, Eric Williams. If you want to see and hear more, make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and follow the Instagram at Gay Ass Podcast. For more gay assery, the real girlies are over on Substack, where you get bonus episodes every single week and live chats with me and other gay ass guests. That's a Gay Ass Podcast is executive produced by Eric Williams and produced by Nathanael McClure. We'll see you next week.